TIZZ TALK Podcast.
Welcome everybody back again to the TIZZ TALK Podcast. I am your motherfucking host, Chucktizz. I got my motherfucking co-host, Toowoketogobroke, on the line, sitting on the next couch over there. Toowoke, what's up? What's going down?
Shit, nothing much, man. Just bullshitting and working on my country album today, man.
Yeah, we heard that. We might have to play a little bit of that here, you know. And then I also got my cousin, and he's got a lot of nicknames. So I'm gonna let him introduce himself again because he's been on. It's been about a year since you were on the show.
About a year, yeah.
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name's Jason.
But your other real nickname?
My nickname, they call me JACO, so y'all can call me JACO if y'all like. Or
JACO Taco.
like Toowoke said, JACO TACO.
JACO Taco.
Taco.
Yeah, so TIZZ fam, I know we just dropped one, but since I had my cousin town, it was like, fuck it, let's do it again. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
And since we did the last one, which is only a few days ago, a lot of shit has happened. Regarding the stock market, regarding just about everything at this point. So we're just gonna run this and we're winging it. We are winging it.
A lot going on in the world. A lot to talk about.
Yeah. So, well, let's just start with this. Toowoke, how was your day today? It sounded like you had a chill day. I see you're drinking some rum.
No, actually, I'm out of rum. This is some cognac, but it's all right. Yeah, man, it rained like crazy in Knoxville today. So, I got a new truck like a week ago, and I just got recruited to move something for the first time for somebody else. So
welcome to the life of having a truck.
That happens.
Yeah, so my broker needed to move a table
all the time.
And dude, we had like torrential rain all over, so it was cool driving the new truck through some shitty ass weather and putting it to use. It was a good feeling.
Yeah, you got like
does it rain a lot there?
Yeah, it rains a ton, but it hadn't rained a lot at all.
It's kind of like Houston because the storm he's talking about hit last night here.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
It rains a lot in Knoxville. It's kind of like a rainforest around here. We have more tree species here than like anywhere in the world.
Really?
Well, not anywhere in the world.
So I guess
more than the rainforest, more than the Amazon.
I'm sorry, is it Knoxville? Is that what
are you sure about that? Because I know the whatever peninsula in Costa Rica has like the highest density of the most
that's density. Like this is just most biodiversity.
Okay, well, whatever.
Of fauna, not animals, but of just fauna. Right. Yeah. We also have more salamanders. About an hour from here, we have more salamanders than anywhere in the world too.
Well, shit, man. You know,
are you in that mountain?
He's in Knoxville.
What is he in the mountain range?
I'm like, an hour from the Smokies.
Okay.
Yeah. So, well, that's cool, man.
Knoxville's a lot like East Texas. Like when you get more west of here, like
it kind of is, man. It kind of is a little bit wetter.
Yeah.
Bigger hills, a little bit wetter.
Can you hear him good?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So I'll make sure. But yeah, no, he just got a nice Chevy 2018 4x4.
Nice.
Like, it's sick. It's Sylvia.
Yeah, it's nice, man. The nicest truck I've ever had for sure.
Sylvia be doing you good.
Good for you, man.
Yeah, Sylvia.
It's a Chevy Silverado. Well, I mean, Sylvia, baby.
Sylvia, it's time to go.
Well, TIZZ gang, thanks for tuning about again. This is 2 times in 1 week. I don't know the last time we did this.
Shit, I don't know. Not a long time.
Like almost a year, for me. So.
Well, for you, but I'm talking about two in a week. Yeah. 2 in a week. It's a lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But
I didn't realize that just 2 a week really is a lot. All the editing and like
you don't even get me started on that shit. Jesus Christ, it's a lot to do, but I enjoy it. So
sometimes I get frustrated. Like my favorite podcast I listen to, I'm like, y'all should be doing one every day.
Like, what are you talking about, Joe Rogan?
Yes.
Yeah. So the last 2 episodes, actually the episode that we just did the other day was actually over 2 hours.
Doug Stanhope.
Oh wow.
Oh
yeah, it was. And the one before that was 3.5 hours. That was like
that last one y'all did was good.
Yeah, he
I like that.
Oh, nice. All right, tight.
I like a lot of the stuff y'all talking about.
Yeah, man. TIZZ Talk. We don't fuck around, man. Crips, Bloods, like, you know what I mean?
I like that. I didn't know that last time either. I didn't know what Crips and Bloods meant, and he explained to me. I was like, that is beautiful.
Well, we don't do
it. Don't matter who's right or wrong. We're fucking gang.
I mean, we don't do politics here in TIZZ Talk Podcast. It's not Republicans, Democrats. It's Crips and Bloods, son. It's gang war out here, baby.
But that explains it so perfect.
It really does. I mean, it really fucking does. I mean, that's what it is. It is what it is.
Even when you're wrong, you know, your team's got to win.
But anyways, TIZZ gang, thanks for tuning back in. We're winging this one. So, real quick, I'm so happy to have my cuz JACO TACO.
Appreciate y'all having me. I really
on the show again, and always Toowoketogobroke on the show with me, and I don't know what I would do without you. You know, like I said, I didn't pull topics, but you know, sometimes those are the best episodes when you just wing it, right?
Right. Yeah, for sure, man.
So before we get started on anything, JACO, how you feeling? What's going on in your life? You want to just kind of tell the people what you've been doing?
Yeah, since the last time, I don't know exactly if I explained to y'all what I was doing last time, but
you weren't doing much.
No, I was headed out to West Texas, and
no, you were not then.
When I left here
in fucking June of 2021. Yeah.
No, I was leaving the trip to like Austin, where I went camping for like 3 months.
Let him talk.
His story.
You don't remember when I sold the rest of my property and I went to West Texas? Okay. So, anyways, the last time I was here, I guess like a week later after the podcast, I had a little property in Navasota and I sold that, bought a camper, and I went camping all summer long. I went all around Lake Travis, all the national parks, all the way up to Lake Buchanan. And just me and my dog, and we camped on the Colorado River. It was really, really fun, man. It was a good little break.
I envy that, man. I've always wanted to just get in my truck and just like, you know, just travel and sleep in the back.
Oh, and I met some cool people, like this park ranger. She was an older lady, just all kinds of different people. I met some bird watchers, and I've never met a bird watcher. I don't even know about bird watching, but they were really nice. It was cool. It was really cool meeting all those people. And then, so I started running out of money. And I was like, I got to get back to work, man.
Yeah.
And now he's killing.
So now I've worked in the oil field off and on since I graduated from high school, and I'm back in the oil field working in Odessa, and it's a good deal I got going on, and living in Port O'Connor, catching reds and trout on my week off, and that's about it.
Oh, nice, man.
And some of his week off, he just
and then I come see TIZZ every now and then.
And then you want to tell the story about what happened on your way here?
Oh boy. Yeah. So my truck, I've been in San Antonio for 4 days, broke down in a hotel room. And
well, we were waiting for you on the last podcast. I was like,
so I left Odessa to come back. Well, before I got to I-10, my battery dropped all the way down. And I was like, what the fuck? So I found a Napa in some little podunk town, and I bought a new battery. And I was like, all right, well, the battery light went off. Everything was fine. I get almost to Kerrville, it comes back on, the battery just drops all the way down. So I roll into Kerrville, I buy a new alternator, and I can't put it on that day because I couldn't find a mechanic to get it done that evening. So I stayed the night there. Then the next day, I find a mechanic, he puts it on. So I take off again, going down I-10, headed to Taylor's, and battery drops again. Dies.
Damn.
What the hell? I was like, brand new alternator, brand new battery. I was like, what the hell's going on here? So then I roll into San Antonio, and dude, I got so lucky. There was a little bitty mechanic shop, and my truck went completely dead. I hit the exit, and I mean, I barely rolled into the driveway of this mechanic shop, dude. It was just perfect. And he told me I had something wrong electrical, so he gave me some fuses, and I found an electric shop. Well, I don't know what a short is, but there was a short that was blowing up my alternator. And every time I would as soon as I cranked it. So I've been there for 2 days. They fixed it. $2,000 later, here I am.
Damn, man.
Yeah, it took him what I thought was 1 day to get here.
It forced me to into looking for a new truck, which I've needed to do.
Okay.
So,
yeah, he's getting a new truck, man. What is it?
It's just a Ford F-150. It's a great double cab Ford F-150.
All right, nothing wrong with that.
Well, compared to the truck you have now, fuck.
It's an F-152, but it's just a little older.
Yeah, well, last time I got in, I was like, we're not riding this car. We're going in my truck, okay? I was like, I could barely find a fucking seat. There was so much shit all over the place. Anyways, what about you two? What's up, dude?
Shit, like I said, got a new truck a week ago. Fucking, my other car was just like eating oil, so I just sold that thing and fucking traded it. Working on that flip house. Should be done in about, I'd say, 4 or 5 weeks.
Do you do a lot of work yourself?
Yeah, quite a bit. I got really good crew this time though, so my plan was to do like 90% of the work, and this time, man, like the dudes I wanted to work on it, like everyone's been so busy lately. You can't get anybody to work, but man, just timing came together, and then a good friend of mine who can do some handy work too. He quit working for this dude who was just kind of an asshole, and I was like, well, shit, I'll hire you hourly, just So he's just been doing a lot of smaller stuff, and then I got a crew that they just knock shit out, man. Like whole bathroom, 2 days, boom. Like they're just, and they do a really good job, and they're pretty good prices. These Hispanic guys, they're just good dudes, man, good dudes, and so I've just been letting them do a lot of work because they need it, because they quit working for another dude to go off on their own. So this is like huge for them to just be able to make some bank, because I had a lot of work for them. So it's just been a win-win-win, man. Just spreading the love, and I hope to work with these guys a lot, So I haven't really been bargaining with them. I just pay them what they ask, and they've been knocking it out and doing a really good job. So
they're hard workers too.
Oh, dude, it's ridiculous, man. My buddy, who's a gringo who's been working hourly. Don't get me wrong. He does a good job. He does a good job too, but man, I think he felt like he was doing better than he was. And then I hired these dudes, and he was just like, what the fuck? Like, they're knocking out, and all of a sudden I noticed he started speeding up. And I was like, yeah, man, like, all of a sudden his pride was getting hit a little bit. Yeah. These dudes are just kicking ass and taking names. So I was like, all right, nice. Like, he started being like, man, you can let them do this, because because he was gonna do like one of the bathrooms, and when he saw how fast and good they were on the first one, he was like, which I was glad, because it was gonna be kind of awkward. He's a good friend of mine, so I was, in my head, I really wanted it to kick him off of the bathrooms and just have these dudes do it. But I was like, I'm gonna let him do one bathroom, and then he was like, you can have them do it if you want. I was like, sweet. That was all I needed. I was like, yeah, all right, cool.
Nice. That's a sweet deal right there.
Yeah, and then my buddy, he's a thoughtful dude. What's that?
I said, to knock a bathroom out in 2 days. I used to do renovations for a guy. That's pretty quick, bro. That's pretty good.
Demo. They put the tile in, they said, and they made a shower out of scratch. They didn't buy a pan. Like, they made they're fucking cold with it, dude. Like, it's ridiculous how good they are. So
a lot of work in housing in Mexico has a lot of tile work to it. Even if it's just for decoration. I've noticed that a lot of crews that are Hispanic are real good with tile.
Well, that's because they have those like Santa Fe style.
That's
houses.
What I'm saying. Yeah.
So I got some custom glass, that's going to be coming in a few weeks to install. And the guy was like, had his level, and he's like, man, these walls are fucking
really
flat. He's like, you wouldn't believe the shit I see. He's like, these are, yeah. And I was like, man, yeah. He's telling me what I already knew, but it was cool just to see a third party who had, doesn't know any of us really. And he was just like, dude, these walls are fucking flat. Like, yeah. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, sure. It's crazy. This week, me and Tuo found we had a mutual friend. I'm not gonna say any names or nothing, but
yeah, man, it was nuts. So one of my clients down here in Knoxville, great client. We sold them a over $1 million lake house a year ago, and have they're real cool people, man. They're fun, and me and my wife have been meaning to get out and kind of party with them a little bit, get to know them a little better, but it just hadn't worked out. They travel a lot. They go back and forth from Houston and Tennessee. And all of a sudden, TIZZ calls me, hey, do you know this Asian lady? And
I fucked it up a little bit.
And I was like, I didn't know who he's talking about, because they're pretty like wealthy folks. So I didn't expect them to be hanging.
No, just listen.
So I didn't expect her to be hanging around the complex, like not, no, like hating, but they live in like $1 million cribs and shit, multi-million-dollar cribs.
In Knoxville,
Yeah.
So I was like, I just didn't think of her hanging out at the condo. You know what I mean? I was just like, and I don't know what.
Well, I merged the call and she was on mute, right?
Yeah. And he's like, yeah, man, she's out here drinking, and like he was just trying to like, he was just bullshitting me, trying to get me off the trail, I guess. And I was like, I had no clue who he was talking about anyway. And then when he said it, I was like, what the fuck? Like,
oh no, she unmuted herself and she goes, "You, God damn it, Taylor, you fucked that up real good." Because so my neighbor right here, who owns this place, that's Tony's. That's Two Oaks. He does her real estate in Knoxville. Oh, wow. She lives in Knoxville. They were doing.
So Taylor's like, oh, where do you live normally? And they're like, oh, well, we actually live in Knoxville. And he's like, oh, my buddy's out there, and I'm her fucking realtor.
Yeah. What are the odds?
And y'all had no idea.
No.
He was actually telling me a week ago about how people were like renovating the condo next door, and I was like, oh, cool, and whatever, but then it happens to be her. Like, it's just fucking nuts, dude.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because she has my cell phone number, and she was like, "Hey, I left this light bulb on your patio," and I go, "Oh, that was you." I had a feeling. I thought it might have been my crazy neighbor, the one that rings my doorbell at 2 a.m. And then when I said that, she called me, and then we started talking, and she's like, "Well, I'm going back, back home tomorrow or whatever." And I was like, "Oh, okay, where do you live?" And she's like, "Knoxville." I'm like, "Oh, really?" I was like, "One of my best boys lives in Knoxville, and he does like residential real estate." And she goes, "What's his name?" I go, "Well, I call him Tony, but I think, he goes by John Thielen." She goes, "Get the fuck out of here." That's my realtor. I go, "What?" And like, I was like, you want to play a joke on him? Like, let's like merge call thing, and like, I fucked it up, but like, it's all good. Like,
that's so funny.
Talk about a small fucking world.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, too, like, if you have the opportunity, you should keep in touch, because they'll be, not only because they're cool, but he, I'm sure, does some commercial shit in Houston.
I mean, I don't know, but I have both of their cell phone numbers.
I think he owns like 5 cribs in Houston. So
yeah. And and she literally like she has. I shared my Wi-Fi password with her, so when she's here, she can use my Wi-Fi.
Nice. They're both like type A, man. Like, they are on it. Like, they are like, I'm pretty laid back and chill. When I show up to shit, they're like, what I mean? They're like, damn, like, all right.
No,
like,
I mean, she gets shit done, dude. No shit.
They hype me up. Like, they're like, it's go time when you're talking to them, man. Like,
hell yeah.
No, I just thought that was the craziest thing in the world. I just couldn't believe it, man.
No, that's that's really great. That's funny.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, like, they're cool as hell, man. They got some really, really cool kids, and they're cool.
Yeah. And it just shows how small the world really can be.
I know.
So you remember when I was driving that Tesla a while back? I told you I had test drove that Tesla. Like, I was riding. That was his Tesla.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah.
What's his? Well, we don't need y'all names. But I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, shit. Yeah, man, that shit was.
Didn't you just come down for a visit with Taylor?
In December, he was here. Yeah.
Yeah, I was on my way to California.
Y'all were so close.
We did a big road trip, man. We drove from Knoxville to Houston, from Houston to the Grand Canyon, from the Grand Canyon to San Diego, from San Diego to Death Valley, Vegas, and then we went to the Painted Desert and back to Knoxville.
So do you have kids? Or
nah?
Is just you and your wife, or
yeah?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, me and my wife, Emily.
We took that same road trip when I was a kid, and man, that Grand Canyon, that's something else, ain't it?
It's amazing. I loved all of them, dude. Grand Canyon's always epic. Death Valley's fucking incredible.
I didn't get that far.
Painted Desert, dude, for something you can drive through, it's like epic, and like, it's so crazy. All of them are amazing. To be honest, like, the Grand Canyon is ill. But I really can't decide which one I like the best, to be honest, man. Like, they were really cool.
Did y'all go past the Hoover Dam? Were y'all?
Yeah, we did on the way back. On the way there, we didn't go that way.
What'd you think of that? That's pretty.
That's pretty cool, man. Pretty cool. Yeah, it is awesome. I'll tell you what, at Death Valley, they're all like awe-inspiring and beautiful and cool and all that. But man, Death Valley, I can't explain it, man. It puts, like, I'm supposed to go visit there and spend some time out in those dunes, man, because I just never had a feeling like that anywhere. And I've been lucky in my life. I've gotten to travel a lot to a lot of really cool places.
Oh, I've been to Death Valley.
So Death Valley has sand dunes. I thought
sand dunes, yes.
I just thought it was like the bottom of.
And it's also got the lowest point in the continental United States. I think
it's
in
the Western world. No, it's the world.
It's 600 or 800 feet below sea level.
It's the world.
Sure is.
Dude, it gives you, I don't know what it was, but dude, I could feel this energy, man. And I'm not like some fucking far out hippie like that, but dude, I could feel.
Don't lie now. Don't lie now.
No, my wife's more into that like energy shit. Like, no, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll fucking trip, you know what? I'll go there, but normally I don't just get that crazy of a like, I mean, it was like a sensation, man. Like I was like, damn, this place is like, I just felt drawn. Like I just needed to just march out into those dunes until I couldn't march anymore. You know what I mean? Like it was cool, man. It was calling me. So yeah, I mean, Death Valley was ill, and then we went to Vegas for a couple of days, stayed at the Bellagio, and we had our dog with us the whole time. And dude, this is hilarious. So we get into Vegas after Death Valley, and you know, we didn't really get to stop. It was nighttime, and I normally wouldn't. I mean, you don't really bring a dog to Vegas, but we just happened to be, you know, driving through. It was the best, you know, take. So we stayed at the fucking Bellagio for 2 nights. We were only gonna stay 1 night, but we were just like kind of fucking tired and just.
Oh, did you run into Danny Ocean while you were there?
I did not, but Ming took a dump on the Bellagio floor, bro.
Nice. I'm sure Terry Benedict loved that.
Oh man!
And this drunk guy happened to see it. Nobody else saw it, but this drunk dude goes, "Oh, disgusting!" He's like, "What the fuck?" So I'll fucking like grab a bag, pick that shit up as fast as possible, got the fuck out of there. You know what I mean? But I was just like,
yeah, right. Yeah. Fucking Vegas.
Oh man.
Oh man.
That ain't the worst thing to happen on that floor, that's for sure.
Oh yeah.
You know, as long as Terry Benedict wasn't involved with it.
No, he wasn't involved. But I'll tell you this, man, the Bellagio, I was kind of disappointed in the room service. Like, they have dope restaurants, but room service was pretty much lacking, dude. I was kind of like, what the fuck? This is the Bellagio. Like, it should be like dope as fuck, and it wasn't.
Fucking Bernie Mac ought to show up at your, you know, like
Bernie Mac is dead.
Yeah.
I know, but remember on Ocean.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
But what were you gonna ask about Death Valley, JACO?
I was watching a National Geographic nature documentary, and it was about deserts. And then, but they came in and they said something. I forget exactly what it was, but it was something about exactly what you just said. When they were in Death Valley, there was something so like spiritually magical about it that it drew them into it. That it drew them into it. Like, I'm not talking about ghosts or spirits. I'm just some kind of energy. Just
a draw, man. It's just a draw. Like, and it wasn't everywhere. And it wasn't everywhere. Like, when you get there, there's like these big. So when you're driving in, it's cool, and you can speed your ass off in a lot of places. So it's really cool. But so there's these cool, just open expanses when you're driving into Death Valley. But once you actually get like in the park, dude, when you get near those dunes, bro, I don't know what it is, but man, I can't explain it. But yes, it's like a draw. You just feel magnetism. Yeah. Like, it's like, man, I just wanted to get like really what I wanted to do and what I will do. Because I don't know if they let you or not, but who's going to go find you? I just want to go out there with one of those bivy sacks, like a one-man, sleeping bag tent thing, you know, where you can just sleep and shit.
Right.
And one, you know, not set up a big ass tent because then they might see. But I just want to go out there in a bivy sack, get down at the, you know, get deep, and then just get down in like a, you know, between 2 dunes and just sleep out there, bro. Like, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
It was just awesome, man. Like, yeah, and they're right, man. I don't know what it is. I've been to Angkor Wat, like, you know, it's one of the crazy temples of the world. I've been to a lot of cool places, man, but never anything even close to this sensation. Like, I've been all beautiful, all cool, how'd they do this? But this was like, I don't know, man. I just can't explain it. I can't explain it. Like,
that's the word they used too. It was like it was a magnetic just pull for them. Like,
yeah, that's how it was, man. It's really, really neat.
I mean,
anytime I go to Vegas, I think anytime I go to Vegas, I'm taking a trip to. You just take an extra afternoon to go to Death Valley again, and then jet.
Well, I thought you were going to say you're going to take another trip to the moon.
To the moon? Well, yeah. I mean, that'll be for sure. But
going back to the moon, he does it all the
time. I've got a show kit.
I was like, Toowokes always take a trip.
Hey, but you know what? There is always been something mysterious about the desert. Like if you think about it, like I've played country music my whole life. And a lot
How
of my
did we
songs,
get on this?
I mean, like, they got a desert feeling to them, but there's something magical and mysterious about any desert. I stayed in Big Bend National Park one time, and we camped out, and we laid out there under the stars all night long, and it was crazy, man. It was just.
It is, man. I mean, you know, one of my favorite songs of all time is America.
There was no white noise. There was no. You're out there. There's secluded in the desert, and it's so crazy. There's none of that white noise in your head from like society and everything. You're just out there, just clear-headed. Just you can think.
On the first part of the journey, I was looking at a riverbed. And the story it told of a river that flowed. That's my favorite song, man. I love that fucking song. And it's all about the desert, man. Like, that's my shit right there. Yeah. And it's true. There's just the first thing. What do you say? First thing I met was a fly with no buzz. And, you know, it's just no sound. It's crazy, man. It's fucking awesome, man.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I mean, I've never been to Death Valley, but
me neither.
I know about it, and I mean, I live in Houston, Texas, where it gets hot as fuck anyway. In the summer,
you know, it gets real hot.
That's that dry hot.
That's a desert.
Yeah, I'll tell you this too, man. We went in December because we were going. The reason we did it was because we were going to see my sister in San Diego and all her kids, my mom and dad, and my grandma, for Christmas. And man, if you can swing it, hit the national parks in December. It is sick. There's not very many people there. It's amazing, man. Like December is the time to go. It's not hot as fuck. Like it was great time to go. And those aren't places where you're really worried about foliage. Like it's not that kind of place. So it's like doesn't fuck with you to be there in December, you know? So very, very fucking cool. December was a good time to go. What kind of blew my mind was, dude, how many Chinese people are out there? Like, it's amazing how many Chinese people go see our national parks versus actual Americans going to see it. Like, crazy, man. Yeah, which is cool. Like, I have no problem with it. I was just, awesome. It was pretty neat to see them like appreciating this shit, and I guess just seeing what America's all about because we have some of the dopest land in the world. I mean, we do.
Animals and wildlife. I mean, we have some crazy beautiful places, and you know they probably don't get a lot of that in China, you know, when they're over
probably there. Not
well it's fucking China. What do you expect?
I know, but there's some outskirts of China, but there's not like big Yellowstone National Park where you see grizzly bear and stuff.
Yeah, well, and the difference is like I don't think you can just get like a lot of places in China that are remote like are not as easy to get to as in America, right? Like you're actually on the way to something else here, whereas there like you're probably going on a fucking real journey to try to get to some crazy places.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's up, man. Well, I'm glad both of y'all, you know, y'all are doing well. TIZZ is doing well. He's doing fine. As I said, we are winging this. You know, I think we harped pretty hard on a lot of important topics on the last episode, but I just came across an article, and the name of the article is SEC fines NVIDIA $5.5 million for not telling investors crypto mining drove sales.
I have no idea what that means.
Everybody already knew that. That was like common knowledge.
What does that mean? What is crypto mining? I'm so lost on this.
So crypto mining, like you use processing power to basically do crazy high-level math, and then every once in a while, you'll get like a part of a token out of it. So maybe you'll get like 100th of a Bitcoin or whatever. And so then that makes you money. So you're using the power, electricity and like processing power to mine
Okay.
It's called mining,
Gotcha.
but you're just basically, it's using like math to develop, to all of a sudden you'll get a coin out of it. And people had really gone crazy over that over the last few years, especially during COVID. And that's why there was a chip shortage, was because people were using all this shit to do processing power. And so, so I don't know why they would get fined. Plus $5 million is like fucking nothing.
500 million.
Yeah.
500.
Oh, 500. Now that's a little more.
It's
But yeah, I mean, I just don't get, why should they have to just blatantly tell you, you know what I mean? Like, everyone knew that. I don't quite get that, but whatever.
Oh, 5.5
Why
million,
did they
not
have-
500.
why
It was
would they-
5.5.
Yeah, 5.5. That's like that's
What-
nothing.
Yeah, it's like a
What's the
drop in the
problem?
bucket in the video.
What's the problem with not telling investors crypto mining?
Well, I guess because
They're publicly traded. They have to be transparent.
Got you.
Well, what they're saying is probably like they were probably acting like demand was going to continue to grow, and that was more of like a short term people buying their processing power in order to mine. It doesn't necessarily mean they're going to buy more.
Right.
But you also can't really predict that. Like if the price of coins keeps going higher, then people are going to buy more.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I don't know. It seems kind of weird to me. Probably the reason for such a small fine.
Yeah, no, for sure. Here's another good one. You might get a kick out of this. I mean, I don't know if you've seen this one, but divided Congress united in not giving a shit about workers. The Senate voted overwhelmingly to kill a pro-labor amendment to the 2022 America Competes Act right before voting to protect a $10 a $10 billion handout to Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, shit's getting absurd in this country. I mean, you're supposed to have two differing sides, and you don't. You have these fools, Crips and Bloods, and they try to act like
some blood. You see what I'm saying?
The left used to try to act like they represent the people, but they don't at all, man. And the right, they've been on the fucking corporate teat for even longer. But man, right now, if you've got a certain threshold of money in your company and you're lobbying, it's up for grabs, man. It's highest bidder. It's not. They don't give a fuck about the constituency or the voters or anything else. So.
Exactly. And another article. I mean, just while we're on it, states are already moving to punish people over abortions. Republicans, aka the motherfucking Bloods, say they don't want to punish people who get abortions. Their bill says otherwise.
Yeah,
that's almost like a social credit score. Like
anyone who mails abortion-inducing pills to someone in Tennessee could be slapped with a $50,000 charge or face up to 20 years in prison under Tennessee bill signed into law as of yesterday.
Yeah, man, it's fucked up, man. I mean,
what was the bill?
It's gonna read that.
Yeah, Tennessee's ass backwards in a lot of ways, man. And
it says the bill. It says I keep reading a little bit more.
I just can't speak on abortion.
The bill comes just after the leak of a Supreme Court draft opinion that would overturn Roe v. Wade, the 1973 Supreme Court decision that legalized abortion nationwide. With Roe as a guardrail, experts predict that roughly half of U.S. states would ban abortion. Now, Texas is already one of those. Tennessee is one of those states which may initially make this new law seem unnecessary in a post-Roe United States. However, as legal access to abortion clinics dwindles, people will likely turn to self-managed abortion.
Yes, they will.
And order
safe practices,
abortion-inducing pills online after Texas last year enacted a law. Fuck Professor Xavier, aka motherfucking, who I'm talking about, the governor, Greg Abbott.
Oh yeah.
After Texas last year enacted a law that banned abortion as early as 6 weeks into pregnancy, requests for help from a service that ships abortion-inducing pills spiked by 174%, a study found in February of 2022.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what used to happen in the 60s and before Roe. I mean, people got back alley abortions. They take weird ass medicines. And
that's
one thing, I mean, however you feel about abortion, I understand both sides of the argument.
I have an opinion because I'm a man and I do get their circumstances to where
it affects men too, though, and
I've been way affected by
if
this.
A woman has been raped.
Jesus Christ. I'm not even going to get into it again, but I'm glad this wasn't happening in 2015.
Well, So in Alabama,
give me
I'm pretty sure it's Alabama.
Give me a good example of how.
You want me to tell you my story?
So here's one. I mean, okay, in Alabama, if they do a test on your fetus,
right,
and it's all fucked up, right? Crazy retardation and maybe, missing heart valves and shit that the baby's not even going to survive past 6 weeks and it's going to be on a ventilator and cost shit tons of money and it's not going to have any quality of life. Maybe 1% of the time it would have a decent life, right? Even a tolerable one.
Right.
That's illegal. You can't abort it. Rape, incest, all these things, can't abort it. Those are the situations I think where everybody kind of
late term
90-something% of people agree you should be able to have an abortion in those circumstances, where
the more freedom, like we talked about.
Yeah. My problem is
what do you think about late term abortion?
That was what we talked about last time, actually.
I mean, I think if it, I do think there is some time frame that.
I mean,
that
if
makes
it's
sense.
6 months in, it's that's a little.
I don't think that, this is just my opinion. I don't believe in it because you've been carrying this baby or whatever fetus for, say, and I'm talking about after 6 months, which is close to pregnancy.
Yeah. And see, most states, even liberals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most heavily liberal states won't let you do that. That's.
Oh, okay.
Most states won't let you have an abortion after the second trimester, which would be getting close to that 6 month time period,
Right.
And I mean, yes, I think there is some arbitrary number as to when it's probably, beyond the pale of normal, but or acceptable, I guess would be a better word. But at the end of the day, I mean, I think just about everything should be illegal in this country. I mean, it should be legal.
Yes.
From drugs to anything. I think just about gambling, prostitution, all these vices should be legal, in my opinion.
I mean, look, I get the, if you're, pregnant and it's you're in your over 6 months, that's a different story.
Agreed. I mean, once that baby's fucking kicking and doing shit that, it's it's alive, yes. But my one problem is, and I understand the other philosophies, the things that should be illegal in this country are, assaulting people, killing somebody. And some people consider killing a fetus of any age to be killing a human. I understand that perspective, and I wouldn't say somebody's.
Yeah, but they don't realize it. They don't know. What do you mean?
I understand that, but my point is here's the problem.
They don't know. They're not even on this earth yet.
But the same people who generally
don't even know what earth is.
I get that, but the parents thought of it.
Okay, I don't want to do this.
Here, let me say one thing. It's just the thing is who are we to tell other people what they should do,
with their body,
Amen.
And B, here's my biggest problem is the same people who generally hold like that absolutely no abortion, no, they just don't believe in anybody under any circumstance, and they're just hardline, Nazis about it, are the same people who, have all these other problems with society, like, they bitch about crime. They bitch about fucking inner city people on welfare. They bitch about, it's like, well, you can't have it both ways. If you don't allow abortion, you're going to have more babies that were unwanted, and they're going to,
you're going to have more death, more women are going to.
Crime will go up.
Yeah.
Crime will go up. Abortion, if you look up the crime statistics in America from when abortion became legal, it is a steady line down over the last 40, 50 years since Roe v. Wade was passed. So,
why do you think
because when you have abortions, you have less kids that are unwanted, especially in the inner city where most crime takes place.
They can't be taken care of. I mean, like they're gonna end up like in an orphanage and then probably do bad things.
Oh yeah,
or just selling drugs and shooting each other, And so it's like
survive. Like
exactly, and so
whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, whatever.
So to me, it's like, okay, you want to be anti-abortion, hardline, then you have to be pro-welfare, because you're telling some poor person that they have to have a kid. Well, then you better be willing to pay some tax dollars for it.
That's a great point. That is a very valid.
I got to say this: we were jamming.
That is so true.
We were jamming the podcast we did the other day in the car, and JACO was loving the religion talk.
Oh yeah. And see, that's my other problem with most religious people is they just they use it as a judgment tool. When, to me, the number one thing that basically Jesus says is don't judge other people,
If there's three things you can take out of the Bible, it's do not judge, love, and
forgiveness.
Forgiveness. But if you know who, and knowing, and when they say through the Son, that means when you know Christ like you do, you do all those things. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And I agree. And I'm not even a religious man, but I there's plenty of good that's in the Bible, and there's plenty of good in just about every religious text. And you'd be a fool to just act like there's nothing.
They don't know their scripture. They don't know their scripture because
apparently Jesus was a Buddhist.
Well, Jesus was pretty much a Buddhist. And so what he also taught was don't go get your scripture from some person.
Exactly.
It should be a personal thing. And yet we make a religion out of a guy who basically didn't believe in organized religion. So it's like, it's just a huge scam.
Because back then, organized religion was so corrupt and just fair, like
it's all they had. That was the power.
Yeah, I believe it's still just as corrupt. I really do.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Very corrupt. But the ideology behind it is such a great basis for how to be a morally good person. If you really
but you can read the AA book. I'm not saying you have. You can read the AA book and get the
Bible, man.
Yeah, but that's based on religion, Tiz. I mean, AA is very heavily rooted in Christianity.
That's why I said that.
Oh, okay.
Well, but you can't have one without the other. I mean, AA wouldn't be AA if it wasn't for the Bible, basically.
Well, they're a little different.
Well, the guy who created it was a heavily Christian man, and that's where he got.
Talking about Bill Dubs.
And that's where he got all the ideas. So, I mean,
I get it, but
there's a lot of scripture for.
It's a good way. It's a good way to look at life. The Bible, the Torah, or the
all three of them, all of them. I mean,
that's what even the fucking Quran. I mean, people love to hate on it. The Quran was actually progressive. It was a progressive religion at the time. It's just what happens is when you have people who
not that different. They're really not that different.
Well, when you have people that just have
they all kind of stem from the same ideology.
We had the Salem witch trials in this country.
Right.
That was based on religion being Christianity was the only way to be in this country for a long time. And so when you have pure power, absolute power corrupts absolutely. And so that's what you see in a lot of Muslim countries right now is like theocracy. So when your religion gets to just run a place 100% and nobody can question it, you get nasty, terrible shit. So it's not actually Islam that's bad. It's just the fact that Islam is actually the law of the land. And if the Bible was the law of the land with the people that currently run our country.
Well, it's just the message that's portrayed.
The message?
Yes, but no, because you can bastardize any text by.
You can jump book to book and manipulate any kind of.
Okay, again, this is why I'm not a religious guy.
And this is why I call it the Christian Taliban, is because those people, it's not all Christians. There's Christians on both sides of the fence. But when you start talking about these people who use religion as like a tool for more power and to scare people and to make people think, that that's the Christian. Like if these politicians that use the Bible for those means had pure reign of this country, women would get stoned to death in this country. I mean, it would be no different from the fucking places in the Middle East that we consider so despicable.
No, I understand what you're saying. I mean, like as an unreligious person and a spiritual person, I feel you, but at the end of the day, like I don't feel you.
It's kind of like Israel. Like you have Israel and Palestine. I don't think most people in Israel are bad people. I don't think most people in Palestine are bad people. But you actually have soldiers on the Israeli side with weapons who will use children across the fence as target practice. That's all indoctrination of like a bastardization of what the country's supposed to be founded on. You know what I mean? So it's like you can make sick thoughts out of good people with this bullshit. You know what I mean? Like
it's disgusting that it has to be over a belief.
Usually that's the common factor. Yes, I agree.
I just think it's disgusting, and it is what it is. Right? Is that ready to go?
To be used that way is so messed up when it can be used in such a good way. And if you just
it's all it sounds cheesy, but it's just
I gotta hit this dab real quick.
No worries, man. I like to see a dab rig on screen. That's fresh. But to me, it's just like, it sounds cheesy as fuck, but it's just like people are just scared to lead with love, in the whole world. Like, because you put yourself out there and people are scared to get fucked over. They're scared to to just lead with just love and just opening up to your fellow man and woman and just being cool, and it's fun.
I'm sitting on cloud nine. I
was trying to explain to Taylor like what parables in the Bible were really meant for.
Yeah, and that's what I wish I heard out of every Christian. Is like the Bible is not to be considered taken literally.
Yeah, and even in the Old Testament, I'm like, dude, look, a parable. Do you know the definition of a parable? It's a fictitious story that teaches you how to do things in life and it's a teaching
of wisdom.
Yeah, of wisdom through fictitious. Yeah. Yes. And
that's what we were talking about last podcast is like, the Native American stories.
He heard it in the car and he was like, oh shit.
Yeah. But anyways, go ahead. Sorry.
But it's just like no one's supposed to believe that a fox talked to an owl. It's just there to teach you, they're just characters that they use to portray these stories that teach wisdom. And the Bible's no different, Yeah,
exactly. Now, and I heard you talking about the rapture. Because if you take Revelations literally, because Revelations was written by John when he was exiled to Patmos and he was by himself and God came to him in signs and dreams. And that's when he wrote that book. So you cannot take that book literally. And I'm not saying the fiery lake means nuclear warfare or nothing, I've heard people say that, but it's such a hard book to understand that if you try to take it literally, you will never grasp the concept of it. It's still hard, but anyways,
I don't know that there is, personally, I think that when you get to those parts of the Bible, I think I think it's trash, in my opinion. And maybe
but there are one major points to Revelations.
Yeah, let me hear them. Yeah.
You will be judged the most harshest on lust and greed. And the way the story's written. Have you read Revelations?
I have.
You know how like they talk about the great whore that rides the earth and throws the kings, the corrupt kings straight into the fiery lake and all that. It just seems that even throughout with all the other stories and revelations of what's going to happen, it just seems that lust and greed or corruption of greed and abuse of power are pretty much things that we're going to get judged on the harshest in the end. In my opinion, that's just kind of
sure. And again, that's wisdom. Like you can use that as a That's all I took. But I just don't like the absolute fear mongering of that.
God, they do that so bad, man.
I just don't believe in I don't believe in. I'm more Eastern in my thinking, so I don't believe in a difference between good and evil. I believe that there is good and that you can do good and you can do evil, but I don't think of them as a God and a devil. You know what I mean? That is not.
I mean, the Jews don't even believe in hell anyway.
Good is not.
And I don't either. What?
And good is not good across the board.
No, exactly, and it's and it's in the eye of the beholder, right?
Right.
I'm gonna, it's like the old question of there's a few different ways to look at it, but it's one, okay, say you have the control to switch a train track and kill 5 people versus the 10 it's going to hit, there's always that,
right?
Well, this is the way it is. This is me making it happen. Or war is a great example. You go fight for your country, you kill this guy on the other side. Well, for us, we feel oh, that guy did good. For the other side, that guy did evil. You know what I mean? It's all based on, what your perspective is.
You have almost 9 billion people on the planet.
I mean, but good for the tribe in the pygmy jungle is to eat their neighboring tribe. That's good for them. Good for some. I'm being serious.
I'm listening to you. I'm listening.
Good for some kid that was raised up in the Middle East who was taught nothing but to kill Americans, and his religion was manipulated to him to think that. That he thinks he's doing the right thing.
Exactly. And then how do you draw the line of what we've been indoctrinated to think?
Right. And that makes perfect sense in my opinion, because it's okay, every culture is different. What's right to them might not be right to us. And what's wrong. Exactly. Right. So
it's like that Christian dude a couple years ago that went to that Sentinel Island to go preach the gospel to these people who do not want you on their fucking island. A, B, they're not exposed. First of all, they're not even exposed to all our germs. So you're basically potentially killing all of them or a lot of them by being a selfish prick.
Look at the Indians.
Well, wait a minute. They have no. It might be cool to go circle a boat around it, but you have no business going on that land.
No business. But to him, the Bible says to go tell everybody about God. So he thinks I'm doing the right thing.
But again, I think we all agree that the Bible wasn't really written by God.
But it's meant as a whole message, because it also
that's fine, and I get that. But what I'm getting at is what this gentleman did. I mean, he's taking
was selfish.
Yes, exactly.
Singing.
What's up, JACO?
Singing scripture and songs of religion to a sorrowful heart is like putting salt on a wound. What I'm trying to say in that is these people had no idea about. They were never going to understand this guy and what he was coming to do for them. You know what I mean? What he was trying to do. You don't go to people that you're not going to be able to reach. And
indigenous people that literally have never left their area, you don't go and.
But my point was
because you could kill them with your diseases.
The scripture was singing.
Sorry, I'm not trying to catch up. Go ahead.
Singing joyful songs to a sorrowful heart is like pouring salt on a wound. Okay, and metaphorically, you don't approach a person about this. If you want to talk to them about it, you don't approach them in a way that. To where
you need to fucking orchestrate it.
You need to orchestrate it, and you need to be humble about it. But that's not being humble about it. Going to that island thinking that That was just blind.
Had he orchestrated it and they were okay with it, that's a different story. But he didn't do that, right? He just showed up.
My train of thought on this point.
And there is no way to orchestrate it. They don't want to talk to you.
Well, okay. Hold on. As a negotiator in my life, anything's possible.
No, they didn't want people there.
Anything is fucking possible. I promise you.
Possible, TIZZ, but in order to even start the negotiation, you've already broken their number one rule.
Okay.
And you broke the Indian law because India says you can't go on that island. You cannot approach that island.
Okay, but just because India says you can't, I bet you I could find a fucking way.
I agree. Nothing's impossible. But the fact is, you shouldn't be even trying.
You're right. Yeah. And that's what I was saying from the beginning. They had no business being there.
That was my point with
the sorrowful. But if you're going to do it, Jesus Christ, have a game plan, fam. Like, don't just show up. Like, you want to fucking dart?
No, don't play God.
Play God?
Yeah, he's over there playing God.
He is playing God. Yeah, he was.
Putting himself in a situation just like the person jumping in that
I get it. What I'm saying is do it the right way. Are you trying to get killed?
No, you're supposed to, in the Bible it says that God.
I don't care what the Bible says.
Let me tell you. Can I just say?
But it's pertinent because he was operating off of what he thought was what he was supposed to do.
God says he will reveal himself to every human once in their life.
How did that?
It is not. It is not.
Talk about a fucking tangent, bro.
Hey,
what the fuck?
It is not that guy.
So how did we get on this?
It's not that guy's responsibility to do that. It's God would have. It says it in the Bible that God will reveal himself in his own way to different people, to every human on the world. It wasn't that guy's job to do that.
I understand.
And you also has to be wise.
But all I was saying is I don't care what the purpose of your visit to the.
But the purpose matters because he thought he was going there.
The point is like whether you're doing it for any reason. If you're smart, you would at least have some kind of plan B, right?
But everybody knows they're cannibals too.
So you don't just like stumble on there on yourself because most likely you're going to die.
God to reveal himself to them. That was the mission was about him trying to convert them.
But okay, do you understand what I'm saying?
The story we're talking about though, with the guy that got eaten.
Yes, I understand what you're saying, TIZZ, but there is no way. You just leave him the fuck alone. That's the only way.
I'm not saying do it.
Let God do it.
I'm saying, but
if it's gonna happen,
if you do it, right? Like, if you're gonna be that idiot.
But a man as fundamentally brainwashed as this man thought that God had his back and would protect him.
I'm not talking about this man. I'm talking about what if it was just me?
And that's blind faith.
Well, you wouldn't go.
I wouldn't go, but if I had to go, I would fucking at least plan ahead.
At least have a bunch of phone books under your shirt so you won't get hit with an arrow.
Yeah. And dude, they got some long dude, they shot a helicopter down with their arrows, that Sentinel tribe. They're pretty
I'd probably put a couple of orders of The Art of War. Because that's a pretty big book. There's like 10 of them on as a bulletproof vest or an arrow-proof vest,
Yeah.
Like, come in peace. Come in peace.
You turned your mic off. Can't hear you.
TIZZ gang, I'm half-ass joking here. It's just like I'm taking this story and it's like, yeah, like you shouldn't go there. I agree.
He was playing God.
But if you do, have a plan B.
Be armed.
Well, yeah, have something. Like I just said,
at least paint yourself.
Like I just said, like
color,
put about 20 copies of The Art of War, the book, on your chest, and you'll that'll be a good arrow vest. I don't know about a bulletproof vest.
Dressed in a ghillie suit and acted like he was a plant.
Well, and I'm about to just put my foot so far past it's going to end up kicking you to Jupiter. That's what's going to happen.
Talking to us. He said,
but yeah, I mean, and that's the kind of shit we're talking about is like, they just don't common sense and highly religion and like situations like that are very like.
But it sounded like this guy didn't have a very good idea of what his Christianity is, because
Well,
no,
well, in real life, who the fuck really knows anything? I mean,
if you humble yourself and just look
and read the Bible and believe that, that's fine. But I believe in
the deal with this Fentanyl Island, I guess I'll say, is it just seemed to me if the guy knew the scripture of the ideology that he was trying to teach these people, he would know that going there was not what he is supposed to do. And I guess that's the point I was trying to make. And I'll tell you what, I do follow Christianity is the ideology that I follow. Okay, that being said, I don't believe in organized religion. And this is why. So have y'all heard of the concept of like predestination and God being all knowing? Like
sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not what you were talking about. So car today, you were talking about parallel or something.
Yeah. So when I went to the preacher and I asked him the hard questions, like I was like, preacher, you got to answer me this. If our lives are predestined and God is all knowing what is going to exactly happen throughout our life, and we had no say in it, how can you consider that free will? And he told me, he goes, well, I just stay away from that part of the Bible. And I was like, you helped me find God, dude. Like, even though me doing all the 6 hours of Bible studies a day there helped, and I did find him on my own. I did a lot of praying. I was like, that's what you're going to tell me? I was like, wow. I was like, what a I don't know. It blew my mind because I had a very spiritual experience with God at that rehab where he came to me in a dream. And I'm not going to go into detail, but I can't.
You can. I mean, it's mental.
I'll tell you. No, I'll share it because I think that's what he would have wanted me to do.
Well, May is mental.
I'll tell you exactly what happened in this dream. Month. I had been praying hard about 4 hours a day, and nothing more than like just thanking him and stuff. And then I got to praying real hard about what he wants from me. If he created me, he must want something from me. So
let me ask you something. What does that look like? I mean, is that like you sitting there kneeling with your eyes closed praying, or is it more like
I'm outside
meditative, talking to yourself?
I'm outside talking to him.
Okay.
But not praying. I do my regular prayer, like the Lord's Prayer. Look, I do the Lord's Prayer real slow, and then I talk to him like I'm talking to y'all. I'm like, I understand. So when I'm like, I'll give you an example. Just listen.
No, but outside?
Yeah, I go outside by myself in the morning.
Sitting in the chair
daylight. No, I'm in the middle of a pasture and on my knees looking up at the sunlight coming. By myself.
Well,
yeah.
And I just look up and then I just pray to him and I'm just like, God, I thank you for being that you got me here and everything, but I'm lost right now. I don't know what to do. And I just talk to him like a human being, like, I just need to know what you want from me, man. And it's real. And just talk to him like that. That's how I talk to him. And he doesn't answer me back in words, but he answers me through my conscience. And he really has. And but anyways,
I've noticed
the experience.
No, I've noticed.
Really?
Since you were here last summer? You fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Dude, you're like you're not a totally different person, but bro, I can tell when you're going through it. And, and when you're
right.
And bro, you are like, so yes, like, bro, like you look,
you've got peace and you've got grounding and you've got,
I mean, you just look good. Like you look like you're healthy.
I'm content, and I found that peace.
You didn't look healthy when I saw you last summer. When you got, I picked you up, you were like, that was.
But anyways, the dream. Okay, I had a dream one night, and this is after I've already been in rehab for 3 months, so it wasn't like drug withdrawals or nothing. And so I was already 3 months in. Towards the very end, I had a dream one night. I'm walking up this big grassy pasture, and there's a big tree at the top. And I'm walking through this pasture by myself, and this bright light comes out of the sky, and it asks me a question. It goes, I look up at it. It goes, you really do believe in me, don't you? And when I said, I was sober. I'd been in rehab this is towards the end. I'd already been there 3 months. I swear. No, the light goes, you really do believe in me, don't you? And I said, yes, I really do. And a white just lightning went through my eyes. All I could see was white. And I had this overwhelming sensation that I cannot compare to anything besides, like, if you were to take every orgasm you ever had, every drug. No, I'm being dead serious. Every good feeling you ever had in your life, every happy thought, everything, times it by a billion, to where you wake up. And I've had seizures when I was a kid that you feel like you're having a seizure and you're shaking and you're hyperventilating. And then I asked, it's just something I couldn't deny. And so I asked the preacher about a week later. I said, hey man, what was that? And he was like, that was
Did you talk to a doctor?
No, I didn't say nothing to nobody about it. It freaked me the fuck out.
No,
bad.
The reason I didn't mean to cut you off. The reason I asked that is like, I mean, you went to a preacher. I get it, but
I went to a different preacher at the church. I didn't go to the one.
But you never went to like a medical professional.
No.
There's no need. So what did he say?
No, I wasn't. No, at that time, I wasn't bouncing in and out of reality in my dreams and stuff. At that time, I was totally, my mind was, and that was before I even got on the heroin and meth. This was before this rehab I went to. I was bad off on pills and like.
How long ago was this?
This was when I was 30 years old.
And you're 37.
Anyways, the feeling I had, I can't explain it. So I asked the real preacher, the main guy. He's a great guy. He's a judge of Bryan. He founded the town of Bryan, College Station. He's a great dude. I trust him and I trust his knowledge. He taught me a lot about the Bible and other things about it, but I'll leave that alone. But anyways, he just told me that was the higher power that I believe in. Whoever, you can believe in whatever you want.
What did I tell you?
Baptizing me in the Holy Spirit.
Remember I pointed?
He was finally, that was my real, not, you get baptized when you're a baby because but the real baptismal is when you finally die and you're reborn again. That was him baptizing me in the Holy Spirit for my rebirth with him. And I think you can see how much peace I've had since then. And I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just telling you what happened.
You've done a full 180.
And I really have found so much love in my heart for people. You saw what I did for the guy today. I'm not trying to bring that up. We don't have to say what I did, but I do that all the time just because my heart has completely, my heart has completely changed since I found God. And I've become a very, very way more conscientious, good person.
No. I'm going to vouch for you here.
I didn't mean to go on and ramble, but that's just.
No, I'm not rambling at all.
What this whole podcast is about.
Right.
This is what this is.
No, it's very interesting to me. I mean, I
didn't realize y'all couldn't see me for like.
Because I've been exposed to like when I think of those type of moments you're talking about, I think of the bullshit I see on TV where some fool's in front of a whole congregation,
knocking them down with his jacket, like
putting on a show, know.
No, yeah.
And this is just you. This is just you by yourself,
asleep in a bunk bed underneath another dope head that in a freaking rehab.
Yeah. Gotcha. No, so that's cool, man.
Well, no, but I know
some of the coolest people I ever met in my life, and they were good people.
I want to say something here because
go for it.
Okay. JACO, I've seen you in so many states, and you've seen me in so many states. Right. I mean, like I said, we are the black sheep of the Sheps, Sakala, whatever the fuck.
We've had a lot of addiction problems, mental health problems. We both have, yes.
Even with or without that,
our whole life.
You have always been the black sheep.
Well, there's a reason for that because we're doing drugs and drinking.
Well, whatever.
The other kids are going to college and we're
like the other ones never did.
Well, they don't understand that lifestyle.
Okay.
All right, but anyways, go ahead.
What I'm getting at is and I love you to death, and I would do anything I would die for you. When I picked you up, that was like, listen. But the crazy thing is, when you came here last summer, brother, you didn't. I never asked, but like I knew you were coming down off some shit.
That was towards the end of my heroin meth bender.
At the store, and
you have to, man. You get so sick. Fentanyl is the strongest.
You somehow convinced me to.
I don't think I can explain the withdrawals of fentanyl.
I never taken kratom before. Do you know what kratom is?
I do, and I know it can help with withdrawals.
Right. Well, I don't have an opioid or opiate problem, so I took some kratom.
Yeah.
There's only one opiate stronger than fentanyl, and that's Dilaudid.
Just took an Oxycontin because I was out. Like I was like, that's what it felt like.
Well, I'll tell you. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, from a milligram to milligram perspective, Dilaudid's still not as strong though, correct? Because like dust, or is it just such a fine dust that it's so dangerous about?
Well, see, here's my problem with that. Here's my problem with that. Hold up. Here's my problem. Okay. Hold on, they gave me the Dilaudid when I was getting surgery. I did fentanyl on the streets. Because I cut my leg, so I can't really. That's a bad comparison. But the Dilaudid felt like it was so fucking strong. But that fentanyl, man, I'm telling you. Okay, look, you're not going to understand this if y'all never done it. But
No,
for something to completely for something to completely shut down meth, you can do a big ass line of meth like that. And I'm talking about that should keep. If you've never done it before, you don't understand what that'll do to your heart and stuff. For
I have an idea.
Hey, a little bump of fentanyl that big.
I got an idea.
Shut it down. Shut it. You're done. You're asleep. You're nodding off. And
wow.
I can't. Have you ever done cocaine?
Yeah.
No,
oh yeah.
No, I've never.
I could give you.
No, I've never done cocaine.
Okay, well, I could.
I've never done it in my life.
I could give you a pebble
I don't even
so
know
small.
what is cocaine.
I could give you a pebble so small.
Yes, I've done it. Not afraid to admit it.
No, I know, but what I'm getting at is I could line 2 grams out for y'all. Y'all both snort a gram.
I wouldn't do it.
I could give you a pebble of fentanyl so small that and y'all would not feel the coke. Y'all would be dead asleep.
So you would actually get straight fentanyl.
I bought heroin laced with fentanyl. They cut the heroin with the fentanyl. So like if you go,
do not condone
no,
this behavior.
I don't. I'm out of this. I'm just. I want to explain how.
Disclaimer. We do not.
I'm trying to explain how dangerous this shit is.
Yeah.
Like I did it for 2 years straight, every day, 4 times a day. So when I bought heroin in town, if you got like a red colored heroin that was like in chunks, that was a lot of heroin. If it came gray or blue with a lot of chunks, that was a lot of heroin. But if you got a straight up one rock that was like white as these keys, that was pretty much strictly fentanyl. And wow. But they were cutting the heroin with the fentanyl. So sometimes you get some light brown heroin.
They don't even need to pour that much in the
No. You don't even understand. So when I would get get the straight fentanyl, okay, I don't know if y'all can see this. But you see,
no, it's like
a line like that. You don't have to shoot it so strong. A line like that.
No, like
for me to
a size of a penny.
No, that's too much.
If you put it on a penny, how much of the penny would it take up of like percentage
of the rock
of the penny?
What?
Like how much you were taking? How much surface area?
Of a penny? You sprinkled some.
A 20th of the penny.
That would.
Oh wow!
That's how much. No. I was smart. That's how much I did to test it to see how strong.
Okay, so that didn't kill you.
But I usually knew by the coke. That won't kill you, even if it's really really strong.
So what would kill you though? Like
if you got some straight white, solid white fentanyl, and you did a line about like that.
No, just do the penny.
You could die.
No, the penny. Okay, if you did a line across the penny.
Line.
Let me finish.
No,
if you.
Penny,
I'm going to explain.
Okay, go
ahead. Hold on, Tiz. Yeah.
If you did a line, if you did a line across the penny as thick as Abraham Lincoln's head, that would kill you right now. If it was straight fentanyl.
So that would be like what? Like
a quarter-inch line.
That would be like 33% of the penny.
No, that would be like
25%.
That would be like a tenth of the penny.
15%?
A tenth of the penny.
A tenth.
Yeah, 10% of the penny. If it's straight fentanyl, that's why you had it. But you knew by the color. But even sometimes when you got the white stuff, it was kind of off color. So you have to test like I'm talking about. And I had a Nasacort ready. So if I started feeling it coming on too strong, I put that Nasacort in and it would flush all that out real quick. You had to be real safe. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, and then I had to do the speed with it. So I wasn't always nodding off because I was buying all these Vicodin. I got, no, my wisdom teeth got.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at
it started with getting my wisdom teeth taken out. And then I started buying Vicodin. And then I could buy $200 worth of fentanyl if it was good straight fentanyl, and it would last me 2 months. And,
wow.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but
and then I was spending $300 a day on Vicodin.
You're not doing that though.
No, so you could get a month's worth of fentanyl for $200.
2 months.
I mean,
2 months.
A half a gram a month.
Could you imagine just?
And I'm doing it
snorting.
I'm doing it 4 times a day, and I'm doing lines this big.
I mean, I've never done it.
So when you said you were doing lines that big,
because I was doing meth with it, so I would not. And fentanyl's different, Fentanyl's
so you would do a line that big, but if I was to do a line that big right now, I'd die. I'd die.
Oh, yes. What about me? It would kill me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You'd be, Oh yeah.
I don't fuck with opioids.
If it was straight fentanyl, yeah, y'all might get away with like some cut heroin, maybe. But if it has any if it was straight heroin, if it was straight heroin, y'all might get away with it. But if it had any fentanyl in it, no. A 1-inch line that's an eighth.
You better have that.
It's an eighth.
What's that shit called?
A 16th of an inch thick.
To save
that'd kill y'all, no problem.
No.
The Epi patch, Epi deal. But the reason fentanyl
that would save you.
Fentanyl was created by a guy for a party drug because like if you do tar heroin, that shit lasts like an hour and you nod off. That's you. But like this shit lasts like 12 hours long, and it's like it gives you energy. And you will eventually nod off if you do too much. But that's why I was doing the meth.
Like,
it's Oxycontin.
Roxy, they give you that energy.
But Roxy's you crash after about.
I mean, I've only done
this is different, man. This is different. Like,
I know it's different.
No.
I've seen Chi-Town.
You don't know the way you don't nod off on it. You keep it. It's like it keeps you where that oxy keeps. No, like you know when you take oxy,
it keeps you right at that level that you want to be at.
You know where like oxys give you energy.
Oxy does give you energy. Like, I used to,
You stay in that state right there for 12 hours.
I used to clean.
And then you crash. But then when you do that, that's when I was doing the meth. If I had to be at work, because I was working a full-time job the whole time, delivering appliances for Home Depot to houses.
Wow.
And I was working, so I would do it in the morning at lunch. I'd go load for the next day in Houston at DuPont, and then the next morning when
was the last time you did it?
Oh, it's been years. It's been a couple years.
So when you said you'd get $200 would last you 2 months, and that was straight 100% straight fentanyl.
Yeah. Well, yeah, 90% of it. Yeah, they had it rocked up with it was straight fentanyl.
Well, they have maybe a binder with it or something.
It was solid white, so I couldn't say there's any heroin in it. Yeah,
wow.
It was straight fentanyl.
So, if you don't mind me asking, I mean, where I'm not saying who it came from, but where was your understanding of where it came from?
It came from Mexico, and you get it from Mexicans, and they're all over Houston, and we were getting it from Houston, and Mexicans have it. All the Mexicans. I know a bunch of Mexicans.
But where are they getting it? From China?
No, from Mexico. China's selling. China,
but they don't make fentanyl. Isn't it a synthetic?
China is sending them the chemicals for them to make it. Yes, they're making it. You can look up the documentaries, but this has been going on. This is what the guy told me that I was buying it from.
So they get the different items and put it together
from China, and the cartels are making it.
Got you.
And they're sending it over here. And the guy that I was fucking with, he was fucking with some cartel guys in Houston, and he was bringing it to Navasota. So but this is the good thing about a small town. It's a couple kids turned into vegetables over it, and it killed a kid. So small town politics and the law, they don't play with that shit. Once people start dying, that's it. Dude, they busted this guy. They busted all these motherfuckers from Houston in the cartel. They fucking shut them down, dude. Shut it down. It was 34 people in this ring, and I was just so lucky. Right after I had I was still fucking around, but
2020.
This was probably 20. This was 2018, 2019.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And they shut the whole ring down. It was in the paper and everything, but it wasn't guys from our town. These were all Mexican guys from Houston and shit. And then my guy Mo, he was a Mexican guy. It was a big heroin ring, but I'm telling you, a small town like that, the law, they're real. Everybody's connected. Everybody's family, dude. When people start dying, and they shut it down like that.
Yeah, it's crazy how fentanyl has just absolutely ruined street drugs. I mean, it's just crazy how.
But what I don't understand is why are they mixing it with coke?
This is what I've heard. Let me tell you what I've heard. This is why.
They mix it with.
I get it with Xanax. It makes you chilled out or whatever. But why coke?
No, here's why. I don't believe it's on purpose. What I believe is happening is that shit's so fine and it takes such a small amount, right?
By the time it gets to the U.S.
You're right.
Well, no, they're using the same scale.
Yeah, you're right.
And they're not being careful, and all of a sudden it just takes a little bit of that shit to fuck up a whole batch of cocaine.
You are right. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And you know what else? They are pressing bars with it because I have got a batch of bars.
No shit, they've been doing it.
Yeah, that I know. Yeah, but
cocaine, you're right.
I think it's just an absolute byproduct. Yeah.
They're on such a large
Yeah.
They got such a large operation that they're using the same. Oh, I guarantee it, dude. Because I'm telling you, it does not take nothing.
It's a business.
There's 100,000 overdoses. The highest ever recorded in the history of.
I mean, it's a business. It's
not the world.
Of the world.
Yeah. It's crazy, man.
And all the chemicals are coming from China, and the cartel's making it out in the bush. Because what's her name? She used to do the Vice. deals. Van Zeller, Maria Van Zeller, she did a.
Hey, she on Vice?
Yeah, she was, but now she's doing that traffic deal. She goes into Mexico and meets with the cartels, and they're just boiling it out in the middle of ranches and shit. But they're dying like flies, like because if they get the wind goes a separate way, and they don't have the right even if they do have the right respiration with all those chemicals, they're like falling out and shit. It's real dangerous for them to make it. So they're making these farmers make it, and the cartels are making them make it, and then dude, it's so rampant in Houston, and for it to get to Navasota, we've never even seen heroin around there.
Let me ask you one thing. Like, so last question about it. That I have is, so let me ask you this, just from a, enjoyment standpoint, right? Like, say you had, say some random guy, say I wanted to just have the best feeling or night of opioid use. Is fentanyl more enjoyable than straight heroin, or is it just easier to get and last longer?
There's no comparison in the way they make you feel. Heroin will have you on the couch like those people on those like this in like fucking 30 minutes.
I mean, I've done, I've sipped a lot of lean. I've done, morphine.
Fentanyl will have you in the club having drinks. Fentanyl is the one you want. It's the party drug. It was made for a guy for a party. It'll last about 12 hours of just like a good Vicodin feeling in the.
So like if you like falling into the hole and nodding off, then
you like nodding off. Well, just do more. Just do more, and then you'll nod off. No, I'm serious.
No. But you've taken.
I was microdosing it. I was microdosing fentanyl.
Like an 80 milligram.
I've done just about everything. Yes. So, yes.
So that good energy feeling for 12 hours.
Did you ever notice?
See, and that's not what I liked when I did opioids. I liked getting right on that line of nodding off.
Okay. Well, hey. Just double up your line on your penny, man, and you can do it right there, dude. Because I was like, and don't do the meth with it too.
Do not do this at home. Do not do it.
No, and I'm not doing it. I'm just curious. Like I'm just curious about.
But think about this. So, damn it. Where's your wine? You don't need one. Oh, fuck. I'll get it in a second.
I've just been hearing so much about it. I just wanted to know what somebody who actually used all the above, the actual difference as far as.
If you want to go to the bar and hit on chicks and have a good time at the club, do you a little bump of fentanyl and do you with coke? And I'm telling you right now, you will be you'll be so on point.
I'm trying to tell you to do a speedball.
No. Don't do it together. Just do like you might. I microdose a little bit with a little bit of coke and get you a drink.
Get out of here.
You will pull more pussy.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. So.
I'm just joking. I don't. But I don't condone it because it doesn't end well. It does not end well.
No, and that's drug use in a nutshell. I mean,
when it gets dark,
nobody's sitting here telling you that drugs just absolutely suck. But when you use them, life sucks. I mean, that's just the facts. Like you use them regularly, you're fucked. And then
when you depend on them for everyday life, it gets dark real quick.
Well, and you can't dabble in something like fentanyl because, like you just said, you almost had to be an expert just to use it.
Exactly. So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like how strong it is. That means the withdrawals are that much stronger than like.
Guys, can we like? And I think we've been doing.
No, I think this is very interesting, and I think
it's very important. We have an opioid epidemic right now, dude. Like
you're right. I'm wrong. You're right. It is a good conversation.
I'm not condoning this. This is a dangerous drug that will.
No, nobody's telling anybody to take this shit.
No.
By the way, before we continue this conversation, I just want to say, rest in peace to our boy Charles Ogando. Michael Ogando, because 3 years ago today he left us on May 6, 2019. I just want to say that because I was going to forget to say it.
He's a good dude.
And, I would just say this real quick. I'm going to go right back to what y'all were talking about. My mental health issues I'm having definitely stem a lot from
Really?
I found that out. Yeah. No, yes, 100%. I thought about it a lot. That really fucked me up. And I act like I'm better. I think I am. Because I didn't even cry once today. And I always did this day. I think it has a lot to do with some of the depression I was talking about in the last
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I don't think I fully have like moved on. I don't know how to explain it, but I like thought about it, especially since it's that day. I really think that is a big portion of why sometimes I can just, especially I feel like it's around this time of the year.
Yeah.
And it's been what, 3 years?
Yeah, today, 3 years.
And it's gonna feel that way. I mean, they say
no. I mean, like I'm way better, but like
in 5 years, they say that's when you really
like,
break the corner of like mourning, like where you don't.
That was just some real shit.
Yeah, that was so sad.
I lost Bronson, but we were 20. That was, he made a mistake. But like being 30 was like that, 33, 32, I can't remember. To have your best friend be shot in the back of the fucking head, like
yeah.
And another,
you know what else the difference is, man, is like, I mean, me and Courtney were like best friends when that, I mean,
right.
And similar situation, and but what's different about it happening at that age is just your circle was so much bigger, like we had all these people that, that didn't necessarily last in our lives as far as being close friends, but we had a huge group of friends back then, you know what I mean? A huge group.
I had like 5 circles. Now my circle is like the size of a decimal.
And so when you lose somebody out of a tighter, smaller circle, it impacts you a lot more, and
to me, it wasn't just like, someone who was part of a circle, which he was, but I mean, I was closer to him than I was with my own brother.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm not trying. Yeah, no. And that's what I mean, though, is your circle, when you don't have that many people in it, the people tend to be closer. And then you're talking about the closest person, that's a real fucking blow, man. I mean, it's it can be traumatic, and
definitely, abuse drugs as a crutch to get through some of it because I had to talk to
dude. It's not normal how many friends you lost.
No,
it's not normal.
Well, he's just a big part of it.
I know y'all lost. I mean, it's not normal. We've already had this conversation.
Really
we've had this conversation. I was telling my friend,
people that we've lost is not.
I've not lost one
for growing up where we grew up.
I know
that is not normal to us.
I haven't lost one person from my class. Y'all have lost 11 from of your friends, of your close friends. That's not normal.
Well, I don't even know what fucking normal is.
No, I'm just saying that is what the fuck. It blows my mind. Like I'm just like I don't understand.
I'll tell you, this next generation, man, it's like it's becoming normal because there's so many people ODing. It's becoming more and more normal, unfortunately. Because
I mean, Bronson OD, but that was 15 years ago. And
no, I'm talking about this next generation with all this fucking fentanyl and all these other drugs, like. Shit's becoming more and more common, it's like, it's fucked up.
Yeah.
Because now you're seeing kids that haven't even gone that far down the rabbit hole ODing because of the difference in product, and so it's like,
these days,
hey, and don't you think
anything you want?
Like you were talking about legalize everything?
You can literally get anything.
When you were saying earlier, legalize everything, don't you think these kids would be a little bit more knowledgeable if everything was illegal?
Here's the difference.
No,
I agree. I agree.
Sorry,
I agree because.
Well, no, but here's the main difference, JACO, is that when shit's legal, you don't get all the bullshit. You know exactly what you got.
Right.
There's no question. There's no street chemist. It's a real chemist. And you know what you're taking, you know what you can handle, and unless people generally take it. Because one thing I think most people don't understand is like most drug usage, like, and yours doesn't sound like it fell into this category, but especially in inner cities, most drug usage revolves around the fact that people who sell drugs have money, have bitches, have cool shit. And so then their friends take it or they sell a little bit and then they start taking it. And it's like, it's a fucking vicious cycle of like the guy on the block with the money sells drugs. He takes drugs. I hang out with him. I start taking drugs. It's
Absolutely.
like that cool stigma goes away when shit's legal. You know.
You're right.
Well, yeah. It does, but
no, those guys will not be able to influence those kids when they're growing up. They look up at the guy, like especially in these urban neighborhoods, like
exactly.
Where that's all they see.
I'm not disagreeing with it.
They're not. They don't see nothing but that man. Who wouldn't want to be that guy on the corner with the fucking chains and in the fucking lack with
Yeah,
of course.
He looks cool as shit.
All the money, all the bitches, and you're just some kid that all you've seen is what's in that neighborhood. Shit, that's who I'd want to be.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And nobody else even has a car, and if they do, it's a bucket. And then this guy's got a fucking new Lac or new Jag or new Benz, and it looks alluring. Yeah, it looks cool. I mean, that's what music.
And then their favorite artists are singing it. So
that's basically what pop music is based on right now.
Yeah.
Is drugs and bitches. I mean, that's literally
drugs and hoes, drugs and
hoes. I mean, Future. All the popular artists, that's all they talk about. I mean, rap music is pop music at this point. And don't get me wrong. Rap's always kind of been this way, but it's gotten to a point where like it used to be cool to sell drugs. Now it's cool to be a fucking drug addict to half of these fucking songs. You know what I mean? Like,
it's cool to be dumb now. It's like
it's like it used to be cool to sell them. Now it's cool to be the fiend. Like it's just crazy. Like,
I mean, look what happened to Lil Peep and Juice WRLD.
Yeah.
20
these kids made them like legend status, and it's like, dude, like.
20, but they were both like 20 years old, and they died from drug overdose. I know Juice WRLD just swallowed a bunch of pills because they were trying to search his plane, and Lil Peep, I think, just overdosed. But
and Mac Miller, same thing.
Mac Miller, yeah, he was a little
fentanyl laced drugs. Yeah, I mean,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No.
I had this barber. He went to prison. He learned how to become a barber in prison, and I bought weed from him too. He was a pretty cool dude. But he was a barber. That was his trade. And I was like, man, why'd you go to prison? And he was like, man, I got in a shootout in a pawn shop. And I was like, really? Because he didn't seem like the kind of guy that would just do that. He was such a sweetheart. He was 7 foot tall, big athletic dude, looked like LeBron, but he was such a nice guy, dude. I thought he was. If you talked to him on the phone, you would think he was a white man, Yeah. And I was like, well, what the hell, Bird? I was like, you're such a cool dude, nice guy. Why'd you get in a shootout in a pawn shop? And he was like, gangster rap, dude. It really, he goes, I'm telling you, Cheese. He's like, that's what they call me, Cheese too. So he goes, I'm telling you, Cheese, that shit really had me in a trance, dude. That gangster rap. He goes, I swear to God. He goes, I needed
listening to exactly.
Like the old gangster rap, like like a lot of the shit from like
Tupac shit.
Yeah, Tupac.
That's why I fucked your wife.
But not even that, like that stuff from Houston about like that I don't know, just gangster rap though. Like a lot.
Yeah, I got you, just grimy shit. Yeah.
But he said it really, really influenced him and it put him in that mindset to where like he goes, I blame that more than anything. And,
wow.
Yeah, he said, I go, what do you listen to now? He's like, Aretha Franklin.
To be honest, I think it influenced all of us. I mean, as far as smoking blunts and sipping lean and all that kind of shit, it definitely, and Xanax and, I mean, it was definitely heavily influenced by, by that shit. Weed was like, the first time I smoked weed was probably like, I don't know, 6th or 7th grade.
That was like when I first smoked it, I think, something like that.
I'll never forget. It was my dad's birthday. And kid that gave it to me was actually a year younger than me, but he went to Johnston Middle School and I went to like a private school. So he was exposed to a little more, right? So he has a bearing case, like a skateboard bearing, like those old cases with bearings in them.
No, I know what you're talking about.
He had like a little shitty weed in that. And he was like, dude, so we go get a Coke can, poke some holes in it.
Yeah.
And we smoked out of that bitch. And I'm jumping on the trampoline. And all of a sudden, I'm like, oh shit, it's my dad's birthday. We're going out to dinner tonight. So I fucking run home, bro. I ran home, stripped all my clothes off because I knew I smelled like weed. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I stripped off my clothes, took a shower, and then went out with my parents, for dinner or whatever. And we were at this. We actually went to the McGonagall's Mucky Duck. You know what that place is?
I know. It's like a.
It's like a folk music bar kind of thing. Like my dad used to love that place.
Okay.
They had a bomb.
It's actually not that far from where I'm at right now.
They had a bomb ass chicken pot pie, and they probably still do. And so I was high as fuck, just grubbing that motherfucking thing. But I just remember feeling all weird around my parents, bro. And I'll never forget that, bro. I was just like, oh shit, I gotta go, and just jetted, like just ran, because he lived like 2 blocks from me.
Nice.
And yeah, but I mean, it was just like the minute he had the weed, I was like, oh, cool. Like that shit was cool. Partially because, you just heard about it so much out of the music we listened to and shit. Oh, yeah, and then part of it was, I mean, that's just kind of my nature. I would have thought it was cool anyways, but, it definitely didn't help, listening to fucking Dr. Dre and fucking, all that kind of shit. I mean, that's a major conspiracy out there right now is gangster rap. Is like rap in the early 80s was very positive music. Like it was all like community driven. It was all like, like build black wealth and like,
the music was fun. The melodies were fun. Like
it was either about like partying, or it was about like building the community and like knowledge of self. And like, it was like, let's build up the black community and spend money together. And then it took a hard shift into gangster rap. A lot of theories are out there about who started it. A lot of it's CIA driven.
I can
a couple of producers that they used, and a couple music executives that pushed it.
I can butt in here on that because I know this.
Hold on, what did you just say? Before that,
a couple music executives and a couple producers that like the CIA supposedly used to help push rap from positive to negative.
Really?
Potentially there may be some truth to that shit.
That's very interesting.
No, I can tell you right now, there definitely is truth to it.
Because music has more impact than people think. You can have an AC/DC concert. You have 200,000 people out, or 500,000 people out there chanting words to this one band song that they wrote the lyrics. That is so fucking powerful. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
That's a bad example, but like, you could really manipulate music like like you're talking about, and it can really influence the masses. Like it's very
it does. I mean, it fucking does.
That is
and I can
there could be some truth to that, man.
What you said earlier is that there's definitely instances of that. It is true, but you're not really going to hear about it, right? And
no.
Well, I mean, maybe you will. I don't know, but being like, I don't know, like somewhat of a musician or a sound engineer.
I'll tell you what, it would seem like a really, from what I've heard from people and I've seen what music can do to influence people, it seemed like a pretty good plan.
No, I'm not hating on the plan. You're missing my.
Oh, sorry.
Well, fuck. Now I lost my train of thought.
Well, you were saying it seemed like you have some thoughts on the genesis of it. I mean, what do you know? What have you heard?
Dude, fuck those.
On what now?
Fuck those dabs.
No, Taylor was talking about, or TIZZ was talking about.
Those dabs got me. My mind is erased.
Anyway, TIZZ was making it sound like he knew a little bit more about this conspiracy, and
like you kind of knew a little bit more.
Oh, refresh me.
About gangster rap being like a CIA. They used a few producers and a few.
Come on, like we were talking about Death Row.
No, just in general. From like going from like KRS-One and Rakim to going to NWA. And then going from NWA to straight up Death Row.
Well, yeah. I mean, so don't use this as where I got my information from, but when I first saw the Defiant ones on the channel,
what is that?
I think I showed it to you it's the bald guy with with Dr. Dre,
Iovine, and
Jimmy Iovine. When I first saw that, I've always been intrigued in the music industry. Like I've been doing what I've been doing. This technology so much better, but I've been
You're a
doing
historian too.
a historian and I love astronomy.
No, historian of music too.
Well, because I just love fucking music. But oh shit, God, fucking
Defiant ones.
All right, god damn it. When I saw that movie and Jimmy Iovine, just like that dude just like inspires me, man. That guy is he's insane. He's like, you know what I mean? Like, and you've seen it, right?
I have not.
Oh, you
but
never,
I know about Jimmy Iovine and I know about Dr.
But you've never seen the Defiant Ones?
I hadn't.
Oh my, take my word for this. Watch that shit. It's only 4 episodes.
Okay, I'll check it out.
No.
Don't forget what you're going to tell us, though.
I won't. Take my word for this.
I got you. I'll watch it.
You need to watch this. Anyways, so Jimmy Iovine and just seeing what he did and the amount of bullshit he was involved with. There's conspiracies about just about everything these days. So, or even back then, right?
I've heard a lot about him, and I don't think he ever did anything illegal.
No. No. That's not what I was getting at. That's not what I mean. What I'm getting at is those types of conspiracies that I think that you're
referring to.
Yes. Those are like those things like they get kind of just like talked about through the grapevine and they change over time. Like, I mean, Jimmy Iovine kind of like even speaks on this in the.
What does he say?
Oh, fuck, dude, I don't know. Like,
well, I'd like to know because
I'd have to put it on.
Look, this is the first I'm hearing of the CIA using gangster rap.
It
just wouldn't surprise me because it's a good tactic.
It was all due really to. So Jimmy Iovine wasn't involved with NWA. I mean,
no. He was after the fact, yeah.
Right, exactly. Okay,
he was with Dre after,
right.
yeah.
And exactly. So, but when NWA was out, you were still dealing with the Contras in Nicaragua. You were still.
What is that?
It was like the Pablo Escobar drug thing. Like it was like.
So Ronald Reagan was basically using. So they would trade weapons to the Nicaraguan freedom fighters for cocaine, and then they brought that cocaine back to America, sold it in inner cities,
and that's where Miami like blew up.
Didn't they make a movie?
They brought that cocaine back to inner cities, and then they used that money to fund what they were doing in Iran.
Well, and a lot of that money went to Miami, and Miami literally is.
Yes, but the plug
for cocaine, and they used the cocaine to fund.
Yes.
What
a war? Yes, to fund.
No, it was Afghanistan.
Dude, talk about making.
No, it was Iran. It was the Iran.
I thought it was Afghanistan.
Dude, that's impressive.
The Iran-Contra affair.
That is impressive.
Okay,
I'm sorry. That impresses the shit out of me.
You never heard about.
I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying that is so impressive.
So Iran. So it was all Ronald. It was Ronald Reagan's.
It was the story about the whole Contra thing in Nicaragua in the 80s. Oh my God, Noriega, all that shit.
I just heard that maybe they were selling weapons or something. I never got the story.
Oh, it was a fucked up thing.
That is crazy.
CIA was involved. Like
my grandfather was actually involved for a short period, and that's when he quit working for the government. But
what were they doing with the cocaine?
Selling it to inner city America.
No. Well, mainly it was Miami. I mean, it was those. I mean, there's plenty of movies.
That's really after, dude. Like this is like crack years, like when crack started hitting.
Yeah, that was the 80s. We're talking about cocaine in the 70s.
Is this true?
That's the late 70s, early 80s.
Is this pretty legit? This is true?
Oh, it's 100% legit.
I'll fucking show you the fucking shit on.
His years are off because it started with Ronald Reagan, and Ronald Reagan wasn't elected.
Well, I mean, okay, maybe a few years.
It's 80s, 100% early 80s.
But the CIA themselves were the ones distributing the cocaine in America.
The CIA was highly involved in this operation.
100%.
What kind of loophole were they trying to use?
No,
they weren't using any loopholes. They were just using.
They were basically doing what they wanted to do.
They were using secret ops. I mean, that's what they were doing. And to this day, people who love Ronald Reagan be like, "Oh, Ronald Reagan didn't know." Well, I'm like, okay, well, either you have two choices. Ronald Reagan knew and was part of it, which is obviously what happened. Or B, he's too stupid to know what was going on right under his nose. So it's like pick one, motherfucker. Yeah. But Ronald Reagan was part of it. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Meanwhile, he's all ramping up the war on drugs and telling Nancy Reagan, "Oh, just say no."
Yeah,
you're flooding the cities with dope, you dumb bitch. So shut the fuck up, like. Fucking
they're
assholes.
Supplying weapons.
Been trying to say no, we can't get.
And supplying weapons to one of our enemies.
So it was pretty fucking crazy.
I mean, like what I was getting at is so
to fund a war in Iran.
Well, no, what I was getting at is that was a perfect example of
I just have to laugh now.
How like corrupt it all is, and like it's all for the almighty dollar. The CIA being involved any kind of today's operation. Well, they were involved in the 80s. Does it really?
They don't need it now. They got those globalists up
Does it really? But would it really shock you?
No, hell no.
And that was my bottom line of what I was really trying to say. Do I have like the proof for it? Like the factual proof? Like no. But just use the Nicaragua situation and with today's thing, and it just shows that they've been doing this.
Yeah. So basically, it was actually so they would sell. I said something wrong. So they would sell Iran the Khomeini. What the hell was his first name? Khomeini. Anyways, Iran was under embargo, so they couldn't buy weapons. So the American government would sell them guns. Take that money, trade the money to the Contras for cocaine because they wanted to fund the freedom fighters in Nicaragua, and the government was not about it. They wouldn't get the votes, so they had to do it secretly. So they funded the war in Nicaragua through the sale of the guns in Iran, and then took that cocaine because they weren't just going to be perfectly altruistic. They had to get something for their cash. So they would take the cocaine and then they would try to use that money to fund even more in Iran, as well as I'm sure other things.
That's wild. And other things too.
Yes. So it's all fucked up.
I mean, it's always been fucked up. It's always been fucked up. But
what was that one where they were going to try to arm those Cuban friendlies to attack Guantanamo Bay to take down Castro?
Oh gosh, I don't even remember the name. Bay of Pigs, or
yeah. That was like in that was Kennedy was still alive. Kennedy was still alive.
That's wild, man.
Kennedy was president. Yeah,
he was still alive. He was president. So,
but so yeah, it's not that far fetched when you take things like that are 100% documented conspiracies, and then you're going to talk about making some music into gangster rap. Not too hard to believe.
Not too hard at all.
And again, they don't even have to. Sometimes it's like they don't even have to be genius enough to come up with it. But somebody makes some song that's kind of starting to lean that way, and then they're like, "Hey, shit, this would be useful. We're already pushing crack in the community. Why don't we glorify it?"
Oh yeah. We already got every one of them full of them rocks.
I mean, you're
like, hey, Coca-Cola advertises. Why don't we through musicians?
How's it going?
We're running Rick Ross like a rag doll across the country. Fuck.
Yeah. We need more of these guys.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was a good one.
Like Eazy-E can only push so much crack. Let's pay more of these people.
Gangster rap, man. He's trying. He's on both parts.
And music industry is all controlled by the radio, especially back then. Now it's not as much about the radio, but
the radio's media, and the media is pharmaceutical companies.
Exactly. And the radio is the media, and the media is controlled by the next guy, and the next guy is controlled by the next guy, and somewhere along the line you get to a guy in the government who can maybe push.
Yeah, that's like the Wizard of Oz, the guy behind the curtain.
So they're going to tell the radio, hey, we want you to play shit that, appeals to this type of bullshit.
That's how they've always done it.
We give y'all all this money in advertising. We got expectations.
Exactly. So,
well, I'll say this. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting tired. We winged this one. It's a good episode. It's definitely getting posted.
I think this is one of the best episodes we've had in a very long time.
Yeah.
Oh,
really?
100%.
Really?
100%.
Wow.
Hey,
Okay,
can I
okay.
say one thing?
Yeah,
I know we
course.
joked a lot earlier about fentanyl, but this is very important for me to say. I have been clean for a while now, and I cannot stress how much this is a very, very dangerous drug. And I really can't. I really can't. So I just want that to be very clear.
Oh, they're gonna listen.
Yeah, but it's. I know we laughed a lot earlier and stuff, and I made light of my situation.
That's why they listen to the show. But
But
we
I
say
just
real
want to make
shit.
sure that.
No, I appreciate you saying that because, I mean, we don't want to be here doing the same thing the CIA did. These are not good drugs. Don't take them. Don't buy street drugs, period, right now, in my opinion.
No.
I'm not going to sit here and tell kids never take any drugs.
No.
I think some drugs you should take. I think everybody should take acid once in their life. I think everybody should take mushrooms at least once in their life. I think everybody should smoke weed.
Mushrooms, once a month.
I agree. Yeah,
for the rest of your life.
You're right. Acid. There's something.
I think when everybody turns 18 or 21, it should be pretty much like run of the mill that you take some hallucinogens. I really do. I just think it's like the world would be a better place.
I really agree.
I've taken acid. I don't like how long it lasts. I don't. But mushrooms, oh my God.
But the months after I do the mushrooms and the peace I find and the clarity is so worth it.
I feel like when I'm on mushrooms, I can feel the world breathe.
And you can't explain to somebody how to do it, but the clarity. And when I went out there to the desert, that one time I was telling you about in Big Bend, we ate mushrooms out there, and I was on pills real bad. I left there. I did not take another pill for almost 4 years.
Nice, man. Yeah, and see, there's
it really does.
Such a great experience.
It alters your brain in a sense. Like it makes your brain.
It does.
No, I know.
You create new neural pathways in your brain that create new forms of thinking and new habits that can be positive. And that's one cool thing that's going on in the world right now is people are starting to delve into experimenting on a actual doctoral basis of whether it's behavioral science, whether it's psychiatry, whether it's dealing with depression. They're starting to really delve into mushrooms and acid and these things as a form.
Be a real big thing in the future.
Yeah, let me speak on that for a second before we end.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. Before we end, I've done the microdosing thing, and it just doesn't do it.
No, I'm talking about heavy trips. Like there's doctors out there.
Did a heavy trip. Yeah.
That are
No. I mean, I took an eighth one time, and I closed a deal.
I'm talking about
on the phone,
taking 15 grams
on an eighth of mushrooms.
That's
nice. Yeah, I believe it.
That's awesome.
I mean, it was.
Was it when your tolerance was up, or were you?
My tolerance was on par with what I took, and basically it was it was like a month after I moved into the place I'm at right now, right? Like after the whole family thing, and a buddy of mine, the cable guy, I'll call him that. He gave me some. I used to have the worst fear of mushrooms because the previous times I took them, I tripped out sometimes. Well, I did it this time, and man, I was having a blast on the phone with my client. Like I was laughing my ass
But
off.
it wasn't too much. It was just like
No. It was an eight.
I actually every time I've taken mushrooms, I have never taken less than an eighth, except for one time. And the one time I took 1 gram, and we actually was drinking that night, and it was an incredible night. But the 1 gram before we started drinking, I can personally see how, and I haven't done it since, but I've been kind of planning on maybe trying it a couple of times. Kind of taking a gram and just going about your regular life, because I could see major benefits to doing that. And
I was shocked when the way it worked. Just because I had such bad experiences with the mental in the past. Now, like I can take. I wouldn't even be scared to take a quarter right now.
Yeah.
Because the mental is just not there anymore for me. It's all body high, laughing, the natural nature visual kind of like trees and everything.
You get as deep as you want, but you don't have to.
But the mental and music sounds amazing.
Yeah. But, what's up, JACO?
No, what I was going to say was a while back I found some field shrooms and I had about 2 grams.
Nice.
So I took a gram one day, just like you said. They weren't that strong. And what I noticed, and I did it the next day too. And what I noticed was and I was going through a lot of shit at the time. All that white noise, that outside noise coming in was gone, dude.
Nice.
I found a bunch of peace.
It just makes you see life differently. All this
peace, and the only thing that happened as far as the crazy part was the fucking trees were a little bit brighter. It was just kind of a brighter day, but my mood was so good because all that white noise, all that worry, that anxiety was just, there was nothing.
No, if you're in a good mood, it's all out the window.
It lasted about 4 days.
No,
I only did it 2 days in a row, but it lasted about 4 days. I noticed, and I was like, man, I got to start microdosing every day.
I used to wake up and look in the world differently.
Yeah. And see, I think the one thing I don't like about the idea of microdosing, a lot, I think it'd be great to do maybe, I don't know what the time would be, but, whether you want to say weekly, monthly, quarterly, I don't know what it is. But the thing I don't like about the idea of microdosing every day is that you're turning something that's pretty much 100% positive. That can become a crutch, you know what I mean? Where it's and generally mushrooms are pretty much 100% positivity in my opinion. So it's I
get what you're saying.
Unless you're in the wrong group or you're in a bad situation. Because I've been there. But other than that, yes, I agree.
I shouldn't have said every day. Because you know what? That 2 days that I did it, it lasted almost 2 weeks. If you were maybe say you did it one day every 2 weeks or something,
Yeah, I think that could be very beneficial to.
You're right though, because if you make something a habit, make it an addiction.
Because if it's giving you any serotonin or any boost, then the minute you don't have it,
the routine of it,
Yeah, the routine, the ritual. Yeah.
Put it in your mind, I gotta have this every day because that's the routine.
Or else I'm not happy. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly.
That's always been my biggest fear of doing anything, is relying on something to be productive.
And I've even gotten away from that, with weed. I mean, and I still love weed and I enjoy weed, but I don't smoke it every day.
The best way to do it, man.
And I really don't even smoke it.
Well,
but I bet on a weekly basis anymore.
I mean, dude, too, I don't even. I might smoke once a week.
But and when you smoke like you're smoking, it really is enjoyable when you do.
Oh, you get so much more out of it, bro. I'll have crazy breakthroughs that I'm not even thinking about. And that's how my brain works anyway. I'm the type of dude that I'll be like, hey, man, I'll be trying to remember something or think of something or solve a problem. And then I'll quit thinking about it and I won't be thinking about it. And all of a sudden, 3 days later, I could be doing anything. And then boom, I'm like, oh shit, that's the solution. And I'm like, where the fuck did that come from? I have no idea. But weed will make that sometimes happen if you don't smoke all the time. You'll just be like, yeah, man, that's what I've been trying to think of, or marketing or whatever it is. I'll be like, oh fuck, man. Sometimes you just got to get high and you'll have a breakthrough, but
you're right. It's happened to me writing songs.
Sometimes you just gotta get high, bro.
Yeah, writing songs for sure would be something.
So if I was to wait a week and then smoke a joint of good dro, dude, I would write the best goddamn song ever.
Yeah.
You know how you stay high for 6 hours, but it's a good high, and you're just
yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Big time. And I'll even start having it gives you a different perspective on your conscious too. I'm generally very conscious driven in my life. But sometimes I'll be like, oh man,
I'm the chances of me, like, if I was gonna go out and I smoke enough weed, like, I'll just be like, nah, I'm chilling here. Like,
Yeah.
Because I don't like, honestly, I just don't really like people. I love my friends and I love people, but I don't like that kind of crew.
I hear you.
What were you saying about the consciousness of it?
Like sometimes I'll be like it'll make me more empathetic. Like I'm actually a pretty dang empathetic person, but I'll like compartmentalize certain things or whatever. But sometimes I'll smoke and I'll be like, you know what? I was kind of hard on, homie, or this or that. And I'll just be like, man, why am I, or I'll be like, why am I tripping on like even having negative thoughts about this right now? Like, it's all good. Who gives a shit? Like,
that is a good,
You're talking about how it makes you kind of think deeper about certain situations.
And how
somewhat. Yeah. Or just all of a sudden you'll be like, something that you kind of weren't really thinking about that you normally would be thoughtful of, but for some reason you just weren't thoughtful, like, and I don't want it to be like, I was just like, oh, fuck you, because I'd never do that. But just something that I'm like, I kind of like, maybe a client was being annoying and I kind of wasn't patient, or something, and I kind of just was like, in my head, I was like, oh, fucking, but then I'll smoke and I'll be like, you know what, that person's great. Like, they're cool, man. They mean well.
Yeah.
Why am I even having this thought about that person? Like,
no. You're spot on. You're spot on with that one.
And then I'll kind of feel bad, I mean, like,
no. Trust me. I smoked enough weed, like, especially in some dark times, like where I've like, like been laying on the ground. I probably shouldn't have smoked, but I did. And, then you're really going to think about everything, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it makes you happy.
Yeah. Oh, no, it will. That'll generally be like in the beginning, and then I'll just be high, you know what I mean? But for like, 30 minutes or so, I'll be like, man, I was kind of wrong to even think this kind of bullshit. Like, the person's cool, fuck it, and then.
You know what you got to do before you start regretting it? You got to eat you a big bowl of spaghetti and just fall asleep.
But I like it. I like that happens.
No, because it makes you conscious of things like,
it ain't
that big of a deal.
A big bowl of spaghetti, like, what the fuck?
I don't know. I'm just saying something. You get full, you think. But anyway,
like,
was it really that big? But
you get that. You get that itis.
Yeah.
You get that itis.
Yeah, that itis, man.
That fucking itis.
No,
dude.
I got high the other day and called my mom and apologized because she did something to me.
I was about to say, parents like that. Oh yeah, man. Like, yeah, for sure. You'll be like, man, let me reach out here or something. Like,
Mom, I'm sorry you made me mad.
Yeah, exactly, man, for sure. So it's like it's really good in that way. But I smoked pretty much every day of my life from the age of probably like 15 all the way to 32.
Oh, you're a real smoker. Oh,
Tuvok, our timelines are like aligned perfectly.
Yeah, like I'd say 15 to 32 every day of my life.
Yeah. I basically chilled out like subconsciously when I was like 33.
Yeah, and see, I ran a grow shop, JACO, in Colorado. So
a what?
I ran a grow shop in Colorado.
What is that?
Weed.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I mean, my whole life revolved around weed. I say that a little bit hyperbolically, but with some hyperbole, but it really kind of did in some ways.
Part of your life for a long time.
I mean, I was to the point where I was smoking like multiple grams of hash a day.
Oh yeah, that was a big part of your life.
No, I went over and saw it that one time I came in town.
Like, and I still don't even regret it, but it's just that's what I was on at the time. Right. And so, and I lived a real chill ass life. I mean, I ran a fucking grow shop. Who gives a fuck, And I mean, we were selling weed. It was pretty much weed 24/7, and I enjoyed it. And maybe at some point in my life, I'll be like, you know what, I'm gonna do that again, like every day. But it'll be a decision. You know what I mean? Like,
I've taken
especially when I'm old. Like, I want to be 66 and just like puffing ganj all day. You know what I mean? But like, that's
me too.
That's the time and the place, I feel like, at that point.
You're right. I agree.
Man, this is funny, this episode. Like,
that's a great.
The fact that it wasn't structured and you said that you think it's one of the best ones, man. Like, we got to come up with a clever name. And
yeah. Hey man, even when you're out of town, JACO, like you need to get on more of these, man. Like Zoom.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I really
well,
enjoy.
he just got his first iPhone ever.
Oh, sweet.
So no,
They don't have a lot of those around Navasota. Like you get 3 a year, you got a raffle for them. I finally won the raffle.
Cocaine and baking soda all the way to Navasota.
yeah. No, but on the real though, I mean, like it's really easy. I send you a link and you click it on your phone and you're tapped in. That's how easy it is.
I got you.
But he's got that new iPhone, bro. So he's got no more excuses.
That'd be good for me, man. When I'm out of town, dude, I'm just sitting. A lot of times I'm on standby in my room, man. At night, I'm good.
Yeah, you're like watching Netflix movies.
I think you were. We needed you in the cast, man.
Oh my God! This guy watches every full episode of Joe Rogan.
I said we needed you in the cast, man. I really think this was one of our best casts. I really do. So.
I mean, no, I'm not disagreeing with you. I think it's been great. I
have so much fun on these.
I got to think about this as like it's up there. It's up there.
Yeah.
We've only done 2,
No. We're talking about
know each other. Like
we're
this
talking.
Is y'all's deal. I just like to come on in there and just hang out with y'all, man.
No, I enjoyed having.
That's why I was like, yes, duo staff. Field goal. That's what you did. You did this shit.
But I want to ask you something about this gas. Like we were talking about the oil field earlier. And
I'm gonna grab another beer real quick.
I was talking about me being worried about it drying up, and like a lot of these guys I work with worry about it drying up. Because it has happened. It happened in. Okay, I was in Pennsylvania in 2000, but a lot of that was natural gas. So I was up there in 2011 and 12. I left in 12 because it dried up there. I went to South Texas in 2013, and then it dried up there in 2015. So I left there, and I hadn't been back in the oil field since until now.
When you say dried up, do you mean just prices went down and production dropped, or like the actual?
The work got so slow because I worked on the rigs. What I did was I was a crane operator moving oil. I moved the oil rigs. I loaded them on the trucks. We broke down oil rigs with cranes, and I was a crane operator. Okay. So I did rig moves all over Pennsylvania and South Texas. But anyways,
but when you say dried up, you mean the business just went down, like not?
Yeah. Because I moved rigs, so if rigs weren't drilling, and then I know they stacked all these rigs up in Seguin, like there's like 40 rigs from the biggest drilling company down there, neighbors, and I was like, oh shit, this is about to get bad. Because when they start stacking rigs like that,
Yeah.
So I just wondering, like, how can you determine predict it? Yeah.
Well, I mean, here's the problem.
Job because I'm about to buy a place down in Port O'Connor, and I'm about to be in some debt, and this has happened to me twice already, and I'm a little worried.
Well, man, I mean, that's a tough call right there, but I think oil generally does not do well through recessions,
Well, you've seen how fast it's gone up. Usually after that, it comes down pretty quickly.
Now, there's been big stretches where
it doesn't matter. We can't get our stage prices are so low right now, and the barrels are so high. It doesn't really fucking matter. They can't get no lower than what they are. They're at the lowest they can get.
Guys, I'm sorry. We have 5 minutes till the next cutoff.
Okay. Well, my thoughts is, if we enter a global recession, demand drops a little bit. So then the price comes down potentially. I mean, the price can get lower. It was negative futures at one point during, Corona. Now, granted, that was a very unique situation. But it's so hard to say. I mean, the OPEC moves that were made and they tried to get them to ramp up production, and they're not going to do it because everybody loves high oil prices as far as Saudi Arabia and all the OPEC countries go. So it's like, I think oil prices will remain high for the next, at least year or two. But when you're talking about buying a house, it's a much longer situation, so I don't know. You've got war going on. You've got a possible recession. You've got oil demand still goes up every year, as far as averages go. So,
well, it's always hard to call the top and bottom of anything. So
it's just, I guess, how much of a, we do not have a surplus going. So how many barrels need to be produced to match what we actually need right now? And then what would it actually take for the world oil producers to meet that demand? And then you just have to kind of use your own gut to say how possible is that and what timeline can they hit it by? And then from there you figure the prices will, whether they'll stagnate or go down, depends on how much supply gets increased. But right now you got to think everyone's producing right now.
Right.
So especially in the States. So you've got to think, but we're part of OPEC too. So it's like,
well,
we have these agreements
because they've been hiring like 100 people a day. Like,
and that's the thing about oil is it's generally so boom or bust because the price gets low, everyone quits producing. Then we don't have enough oil, price shoots up, everybody starts producing, and then there's too much oil and the price drops. So it's just like it's inevitable.
It's actually something Brent, his dad, told me a long time ago. He goes, "There's about a 5-year turnaround on oil and the oil industry," and that's kind of it has been that way since he was kind of
right. So put that into perspective.
Actually, he is right. No, I think.
But anyways, so 2025. If we go off of that, about 2025, we should be looking at another like cliff, for oil.
I mean,
oh well, I'll be good then. I'll be good.
Okay, but I mean, with a recession, I think a recession's coming.
I definitely won't get laid off.
Sorry.
I just might not be able to make the big money. Like
I think Toowoketogobroke. I think the recession is here, and it just hasn't been accepted yet.
Well, the thing is, right now we're in such a funky recession. We're in a recession that's based on tech stocks, which don't really affect.
I'm not just talking about the stock market. I'm talking about.
Well, no, I know, but I'm just saying, like, consumer spending is still high. People are still creating.
We are literally teetering on the edge.
Yes, and when it turns fast. But I don't know. It's so hard to predict.
No, I
think you'll be good. I think you'd be good at least for the next year, JACO, and then maybe after that, who knows? But
well, I've seen another year. That'd be good. At least I can in a year I can at least set myself up in case it does happen. Where
I think Russia is probably your best friend right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
let me suit up.
Well, TIZZ gang, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. We are going to go ahead and end this show this evening. Thank you, JACO. God damn.
Thanks for having me, man.
JACO TACO, man. Yeah.
And Toowoketogobroke, always my ghost. And apparently he thinks this is the best show so far. So we shall see. But I always do my thing. But I don't want to go first. We always give her a little peace out. It's like,
yeah. I just want to say thank y'all for having me, man. TIZZ. This has been fun. I think it was informative, and I always have a good time on y'all's podcast. So I hope y'all have me back, and we'll see y'all next time.
There you go. All right. I mean, do you have anything to say? I'll go last.
Well, just as always, man, didn't that, and I think that, it's funny, you're a big Joe Rogan fan. I think this was probably our most Rogan-esque podcast that we've ever done.
Kind of was.
I'm about to watch 3 hours right now. Kind of us 3 hours.
Kind of was, honestly.
It was
the last like 3 episodes we've done have been like almost 3 hours, like almost 3 hours plus.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's getting Joe Rogan-esque over here.
Yeah.
But didn't that and what else? Is that it?
That's it, man. That covers everything.
Yeah, I know. That's why I love it. Me. I always do the same fucking thing. It's just, I'm tired of saying it, but just, TIZZ gang, get your fucking mind correct. And when you get it correct, just fucking, just keep your mind correct. Okay. Because, that's the hardest part, honestly.
Amen.
TIZZ, I don't ask why. I just ask why not. And God damn it, Stiz. Just, all right. Holler at the TIZZ for honor, to getting honor, to staying honor. And if you can't come in her, come on her. Shout out to the Stiz with the lowercase s.
It's the TIZZ Talk Podcast.